What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, in this video, what I want to talk about is Danny Garcia versus Zab Judah coming in February. Um, some of you guys sound like you guys are upset about this particular fight. I'm actually anxious to see it. I reported on this. I'll put in the video responses. But initially, they were talking about doing a Zab Judah versus Lamont Peterson fight, and I would have watched that, but I'd rather see Danny Garcia versus Zab Judah, and I feel like that's a higher stake fight. The reason Lamont Peterson and the Zab Judah fight didn't go is because pretty much since Lamont Peterson got busted with the testosterone, the PEDs, PEDs, steroids, um, it doesn't look like anyone was willing to bet or bid on that particular fight. No one was really showing interest, and then that's the reason. So they moved on to different things. It looks like Timothy Bradley is probably going to rematch Lamont Peterson, and Zab Judah is now fighting Danny Garcia. And I think this is a better fight, higher stakes. I like the whole East Coast versus East Coast. Danny's from Philly, Zab's from Brooklyn, BK. They're having it at the Barclays, new venue. So I like this fight a lot better. I'm sure some of you guys seen the press conference. It got a little wild and a ruckus, a little fight, whatever you want to call it, broke out. Mostly because of Angel Garcia. You guys know how Angel Garcia. Let's speak the truth. He doesn't the truth. You know how Angel Garcia gets. Side note: one part that was hilarious to me is when Angel Garcia told Zab Judah. He said, "Take that motherfucking Janet Jackson hat off." Oh my, that had me dying. But anyway, back to this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna give an early prediction. I see Danny Garcia beating Zab Judah. From a boxing perspective, on paper, it looks like it's gonna be an incredible fight, and it looks like the way Danny Garcia fights and the way Zab Judah fights, or the way I know Zab Judah can fight with his level of skill, Zab Judah should be the epitome of the fighter that beats Danny Garcia. So some of you were probably like, why is he picking against Zab Judah if you feel that way? And it's because of Zab Judah. I think Zab Judah defeats Zab Judah a lot of times, and doesn't really show up when it counts. There's been so many times where because I like Zab Judah, like Danny Garcia, I like the sport of boxing, but so many times I've rooted for Zab Judah and kind of expected him to do big things. Like against Amir Khan, I was going for Zab Judah, and he got knocked down with a body blow. And I can't feel another man's pain, so I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm not saying for a fact that he could have recovered from that, but it looked like he would have been able to beat the count. But he was spending so much time arguing with the referee. And then he got counted out, lost the fight by KO to Amir Khan. And he didn't look great in that fight anyway. That's my problem with Zab. I don't feel like he has the ability to adapt, which is one of the reasons I really respect Floyd Mayweather, just because of his ability to adapt. Like I said, the Amir Khan fight, I think even if Amir Khan beat Zab, I think it should have been a lot more competitive than it really was. And like I said, I think he could have beat the count. Same thing with the Andre Berto versus Robert Guerrero fight recently. I felt Andre Berto was spending so much time crying and whining to the referee and like, oh, he's hitting me and da da da. If the ref's not calling it, I mean, you can try to warn him and say, hey, this guy's doing this, but it gets to a point where obviously the ref is not calling whatever you want called, and I mean, you've done your part by trying to notify him of it, but how long are you going to invest time, and how much energy are you going to invest into complaining? It sounds like you should start going to a plan B and like Robert Guerrero's making the fight dirtier, then you need to adjust to that and start making it dirty. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to keep whining and expecting the ref to be your savior at that point. I mean, in a perfect world, yes, the referee's supposed to call like illegal shots or hitting behind the head, low blows, all that. He is supposed to do that, and you could do your part to warn. But that crying shit doesn't really work. I mean, And I feel like a lot of times fighters get off their game plan because they're complaining to the ref. Another fight where I feel like I seen this was Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson. Um, Amir Khan was doing some dirty things, yet he was complaining about everything that Lamont Peterson was doing. Amir Khan was pushing off, using elbows, pushing off with his elbows and that kind of thing. But Amir Khan was the one mostly complaining to the referee about, oh, he's rushing in with his head and da 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 da. But he was doing some dirty things as well. So Lamont Peterson, he was just like, okay, it is what it is. This is the fight that we're having, and he was making it a dog fight, and he's doing dirty things, I'm doing dirty things, or whatever, and they were just fighting. So that's my problem with Zab. I don't feel he has the ability to adapt. I feel like he gets to a level of frustration, and it's just like everything's out the window. It's like I'm not gonna say he's not trying anymore, but it doesn't look like the same Zab. If you watch the Floyd Mayweather versus Zab fight, he looked like he had a speed advantage against Floyd, and he was besting Floyd. He was landing some clean shots, and then he just completely went away from the game plan, and then Floyd just started like picking him apart, and it looked like, I don't know, it just looked like it was too much. And then they had the confrontation in the ring where Roger Mayweather got in the ring, and it just looked like Zab's whole mental, to me he's mentally frail. He has like a mental fragility. Yeah, big word. He has a mental fragility, and I've always seen this in Zab. And again, I think Zab beats himself a lot of times. Like, I'm not questioning his level of skill. He's a very skilled fighter. And again, on paper, based on styles, the fact that Danny Garcia is not a fast fighter in terms of hand speed, throws like looping club punches and like wide. It looks kind of wild. He's not known for like great footwork, or you know what I mean, like very mobile. He's kind of like squared up and that kind of thing. But he still finds a way to win. And I would put somebody with heart over someone who loses composure and lacks heart. So that's why I'm thinking Danny Garcia is going to beat him, because Danny Garcia, like I said, he's proven in his last like couple fights or whatever that he has the will to win. He received a cut, I think, early on. Amir Khan has very fast hand speed, and he received a cut early on in that fight. He stayed composed, stayed with it. And if you watch that fight, the Amir Khan versus Danny Garcia was like throwing those wild club looping punches, and Amir Khan is such an ambush fighter and such a rangy fighter that he was avoiding a lot of the shots, and Danny Garcia was missing and looked like exerting a lot of energy trying to swing like wild, like right and left hooks and stuff like that, and he was just missing because Amir Khan was like da 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 and in and out and too fast. But again, I seen him stay composed, and we know what happened in the end of that fight. He knocked Amir Khan out. So that's one thing I can't give credit to Zab for. Like, and one thing Angel Garcia was saying, it's true. Every time it was Amir Khan's, or excuse me, every time it was Zab Judah's time to shine and really show to the world what he's capable of, he kind of failed. Floyd Mayweather, Castazu, Amir Khan, like, I mean, his biggest fights, he kind of failed. And like I said, I picture Zab as the type of fighter who's super gifted. He's incredibly gifted. Southpaw, but just mentally, I don't feel like it's all there. I don't feel like he mentally has it all when it comes to fighting. And like, if things aren't going his way, if things are going Zab's way, he's a nightmare. But if they're not, then he's his own worst enemy. And I also feel the same thing with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, when he started fighting certain people, and he's a shorter fighter for a heavyweight, I feel Tyson used to get frustrated. I mean, that's what he bit fucking Evander Holyfield's ear off. So, I mean, those are the types of things that happen. I can't picture Floyd Mayweather biting somebody's ear off out of frustration. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, him biting someone's ear. I feel like he's gonna adapt, and someone could say, "Oh, Victor Ortiz headbutted him and he punched him," but shit, the ref said go, fight is on. You know what I mean? But I could picture Zab Judah doing something weird, like I don't know, just weirder, out of the norm. You know what I mean? Just because of his mental fragility, and that's my honest opinion. It should be a close fight. It should be a good fight, but ultimately, especially if it goes down the stretch, I'm predicting Danny Garcia probably by stoppage, if not a decision, and that's just because of Danny Garcia still finds a way to win. He's young. He has the momentum. He's receiving a little bit more success and more limelight and exposure, and I don't think he's anxious to let that go away. And then, like I said, a person like Zab Judah, he starts to deteriorate as the rounds go on if things aren't going his way, and that's what I honestly feel like. I put him in the same category with Mike Tyson in terms of the how mentally frail or like sensitive, I guess you could say, they are when things aren't going their way. Watch the Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis fight. It just felt like Mike Tyson wasn't. I mean, Lennox Lewis is 6'5", and I mean, obviously that's going to be a struggle for you to get on the inside, but it didn't look like the same Tyson, like the 80s Iron Mike Tyson that fought Lennox Lewis. That's why I wish they would have fought earlier. But that's just my honest opinion. I see Danny Garcia beating Zab Judah, even though on paper Zab Judah's style and the way he fights should be devastating to a fighter like Danny Garcia. I'm not sold with the way Zab conducts himself. That's my opinion. I know I'm going to get some hate for it. Either way, leave a comment, leave an educated response, why you feel whoever will win. Are you looking forward to this fight? And that's basically it. Subscribe, comment, and hate. Until next video, it's Ego signing off.